El alchemista Paulo Coelho. The only obligation of a person is to complete their right. So we on to Spanish and English for the Moorish alchemist, part 59, and here it reads: El alquimista deshizo el círculo del suelo y la corra corrió y desapareció entre las piedras. El muchacho se acordaba del mercader de cristales que siempre quiso ir a la Meca y el inglés que buscaba un alquimista. El muchacho se acordó de una mujer que confiaba en el desierto y el desierto le trajo la persona que deseaba amar. So the alchemist undid the circle on the floor, and the cobra ran and disappeared within the rocks. Santiago remembered, was reminiscing, I guess, about the crystal merchant that he always wanted to go to Mecca and the Englishman that always wanted to find the alchemist. And then Santiago remembered a woman that confided in the desert, and the desert brought her the person that she wished to love. Montaron en sus caballos y esta vez fue el muchacho quien siguió al alquimista. El viento traía los ruidos del oasis y él intentaba identificar la voz de Fátima. Aquel día no había ido al pozo por causa de la batalla. They got on their horses, and this time it was Santiago that followed the alchemist. And the wind would bring with it the sounds of the oasis. And he tried his best, Santiago tried his best to identify the voice of Fatima on the winds as he's going to the oasis. That day, um, she hadn't gone to the well because of a battle. Pero esta noche, mientras miraba una cobra dentro de un círculo, el extraño caballero con su halcón sobre el hombro había hablado de amor y tesoros, de las mujeres del desierto y su historia personal. But that night, while they were looking at the cobra within the circle, the strange gentleman with his hawk over his shoulder had spoken of love and treasures and the women of the desert and his personal legacy. So this is Santiago. Voy contigo, dijo el muchacho. I'm going with you. Y inmediatamente sintió paz en su corazón and immediately felt peace in his heart. And the alchemist says to him, partiremos mañana antes de que salga el sol. Fue la única respuesta del alquimista. He's like, we'll part tomorrow before the sun rises. That was the only response that the alchemist gave Santiago. So it's a very, very short chapter here. And it's more of a narration, really. Not too much going on here, but it's really about the emotional aspect and the essence and confidence that Santiago begins to have when he starts to, I guess you could say, trust the process. Because the alchemist in the previous chapter had convinced Santiago and told him like, "Hey, this is what's gonna happen in the first year, the second year, and the third year, and the fourth year, and eventually." you're gonna be rich as hell, but you're never gonna be somebody who actually achieves your dreams because you let a girl kind of get in the middle of your destiny when your destiny was what brought you to that girl anyway. So you have to fulfill your destiny, you know. And as Santiago is riding back to the oasis on a horse with the alchemist, um, he makes the choice to continue on with following the signs and the signals and believing in the desert, and he continues on in his journey. Um, and this is just one of the parts right here that essentially like um builds up his self confidence to go ahead and to trust in the process, right? So once again, this is your boy Marcoelboriken, El Alquimista by Paulo Coelho. It's The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. One of the best books that I've ever read, and one of the first books that I actually had ever read when I was um coming up in my early years of erudition. Um, and I highly recommend it, especially for somebody who's curious about travels, believe like whoever has like real strong intuition, whoever has ambition to like change their life, to want to go ahead and do something that they've never done and go into places that they've never been to. But the theme and the backdrop of this is very Moorish and Andalusian. It's very Egyptian. It's a lot of like sand scenes, Moroccan sand, Maghreb, scenes like that, and very Islamic, right? Old world stuff. So yeah, very short chapter today. I'm your boy Marcoelboriken reading El Alquimista, The Alchemist of Paulo Coelho. Remember, la única obligación de una persona es cumplir su destino. The only obligation of a person is to achieve and to reach their destiny. So ask yourself, like, what is your destiny? What's your destiny?